it was really something to see, especially when we threw the rubbings in. They had touched a lot of people there, and you know, and it kept us going as far as selling those coins. So I think we're onto something with that. We're down to, out of the 100, we've got about 70 left. John just purchased one yesterday. The funds are on their way to the city.
Do we have the coin?
I don't have one on me. Do you have one?
No, I
John?
didn't bring it.
I was gonna show it to the public, but we don't, I have to come to the street fair, I guess, to see it. Okay, silent auction of the memorial photograph. We have a donated photograph. We're gonna get it framed, and there'll be a silent auction. Hopefully we can raise some money with that. It's a very nice photograph. Thank you. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a twilight shot of the memorial is what we're looking at, and there's gonna be, the challenge coin, with the front and the back on the coin, and depending on the bidder's needs or wants, I would say, the idea is to put, if they wanna, you know, buy it with the auction, the highest bidder, and they have a loved one that's on the wall, we'll actually put a rubbing in there with the coins on each side in the photo, and we'll get it framed at Shop 202. You know, we like to keep the business local here. Or if there's the person that actually wins the silent auction, we come up with an idea, if they don't have a loved one on the wall that they're interested in, that we'll go ahead and put some sort of a brass plaque on there, basically to commemorate the memorial itself. But I think it's gonna be a hit.
The next item for street fair items is ball caps and polo shirts. We still have baseball caps. I think we're just about out of polo shirts.
We have no polo shirts left, and the polo shirts we were looking at from the last go-around, that gentleman has moved his shop, and so far I've not been able to relocate him, so I cannot give you a price on any polo shirts. So that'll have to be something we'll have to resolve in through email process or something if we want to continue to go that way.
Okay.
Because the street fair, I think, is the 18th and the 19th of May, right?
Yes, sir.
Sounds right. All right, the next item is the Honor and Remember Flag update, and I thought if it was all right with the committee, I would like to start with some remarks. First of all, at the commission meeting of February 10, I was provided with a package of information by Deputy Mayor Lynch, and I made copies, and they should have been distributed to the committee members. Everybody have a copy of that? Has everybody had a chance to review whatever they want to see in it? Since that date, I have not received anything additional. I assume no one from the committee has received anything additional. Does the committee have, anyone on the committee have any comments, having reviewed this?
No.
I've looked at the information and I've reviewed it, and at the present time, I really have no further comments. I think a lot of the material was there was some material that we've already pursued, but at the present time, I have no comments.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. As I say, I thought I would, being chair, I'd take this opportunity to offer what I understand is the history of the memorial, how we've gotten here. In 1997, this committee was formed and charged with the responsibility to evaluate the then existing honor roll, which had all those names from World War II on it. A review of the existing honor roll yielded the information very quickly that it was in very bad condition. It had been repaired many times. The wood was rotting and the steel supports were rusted and really, I felt, in danger of collapse. So we knew we had to do something, and it should be something substantial. The honor roll that we were looking at was created after World War II. It had more or less all those names that you see on that poster, and it was intended to honor the people who had fought, and some died in the Second World War. This committee was formed under the Parks and Recreation part of the city charter and charged with the responsibility of replacing the honor roll. Some of the people on this committee have been at it for 16 years. And I think we are more or less completed with our mission. I would like to address a couple of things that have been said at various meetings. One is that this committee meets in secret. That was kind of startling to me. We've always sought input from the community. There's nothing we would have liked more than a little help. This was a big task, it took a long time, and we lost a lot of committee members over the time. We've had people walk away because it took too long. We had people that died while working for this result. This project was under construction for more than 2 years, right in the middle of the city. Anybody drove down Farnsworth Avenue could see what was going on. Anybody had an interest in what was happening could stop and ask. They could go to City Hall and say, who's in charge, who's doing this? We had a box hung on the construction fence that contained one of these. I had a bunch of these actually. And there's contact information on it. Anybody wants to know who's doing this, how to get in touch, how to attend a meeting. Absolutely readily available information. We certainly would have appreciated some help, particularly during those times when construction was occurring. When it was so cold, we're breaking ice off the water so we can mix cement. During every planning stage, we sought input from the public. When we were planning the dedication, we tried to get the public involved. You know, certainly we'd like to help, but we wanted public participation. When we had the dedication, we wanted people to appear and to observe what we were doing. We certainly weren't trying to do that in secret. The good news is we still have work to do. We have a leak in the fountain, and we have to get busy repairing the leak in the fountain. So anybody wants to help out, there'll be an opportunity to participate. So, you know, if anyone still feels that we were meeting in secret, I'm really sorry. I don't know how else we could have made this public. We did everything we could. There was a comment made that we spend public money. That is also not true. The committee actually spends no money. The committee raises money. The committee turns all the money that we raise over to the city. The city puts it in a trust account. And then if we want money to buy light bulbs, or we just put up a new LED floodlight, we send a letter to the commission and we get a check from the city. And sometimes members of the committee actually pay for things out of their own pockets. But the city asked us to locate a new memorial, to design it, and to build it. And we were charged to do this as the Bordentown Veterans Memorial Committee. The honor roll that we were replacing was very limited in scope. It was a World War II memorial. And certainly in 1946, when that was printed?
Yes.
That was paramount in people's minds. But it is not the only conflict the United States is engaged in. And we had nothing that reflected earlier conflicts nor the Korean War or Vietnam War. And we felt that our job really could not be done unless we broadened the scope. So what we have is now a memorial that's intended to be inclusive of everybody who served from Bordentown in all the conflicts that Congress has recognized. We can't be as precise as that mission sort of sounds because we don't know in the Revolutionary War where people lived. So what we did was we took records we had from from the Bordentown area. The township lines have changed, townships have been created since then. So what we did was we took what records we had, supplement them where we could, and we did not bother with where people lived up through the end of the Second World War. Beginning after the Second World War, the plan was that this be a Bordentown City Veterans Memorial, and that is our goal, and that's what we're trying to do. So what you see there in the more recent conflicts are people who lived in Bordentown. And that they could demonstrate that in a number of ways, but typically DD 214, this is, you know, when I went in the service, I lived here. When I came out of the service, I intend to live here. And if either of those said Bordentown City, then they qualified. If you are familiar with the memorial, or if you go out and look at it tonight, you'll see what I think are some really clever, really subtle things about this memorial. It's intended to be, the way it's oriented to the street is not by accident. This was things that we argued about a lot. But it's positioned in the street. We had a very small site. It was a particular shape. You can see the way it's oriented to the street to protect the center of the memorial, the curved wall to protect it. It's open to the street, and yet it's sheltered from the street. The intent is to reduce the traffic noise when you're in there looking at the wall. The fountain was included for the same reason, to provide some background noise so that you would not be as aware that there's city traffic right nearby. And we believe that the shape and the orientation has accomplished that. But it was always intended to be a veterans memorial. It's not, as I say, it's not precisely a city memorial. It is a regional and then a city memorial. It's not a citizens memorial. It's a veterans memorial. There are certainly many worthy causes, but we have a narrow responsibility, and that is to create a new veterans memorial. And I would hope that everyone appreciate, I think if you just look at it, you can see this was not a casual project. But if it's not obvious, let me tell you that there's very little that happened here casually. The names that are included on the wall had to be reviewed and discussed at considerable length to make sure that the names were appropriate for inclusion on the wall. Every one of the pavers that's down in the plaza area was reviewed for its proper inscription. We didn't want any, we had some requests for commercial statements, and we said no, we didn't think that was appropriate. Most recently, we had one for Apps Hardware, and you know, Apps Hardware is not even in business anymore. But no, we can't put something down that says Apps Hardware. That's a commercial statement, even though it's not a viable business any longer. But we agreed on, we suggested remembering Apps Hardware. That gets the message out, but it is not a commercial statement. When we created our rules for inclusion of names on the wall, that was clearly a more serious consideration than the items for inclusion in the papers. And we developed those rules, and then we had the terrible tragedy of Ben Moore being killed in combat. We were presented with a request to put Ben's name on the wall. And reviewing our rules, he did not qualify. But we knew, or we understood, and accepted as true, that Ben wasn't merely a citizen or failed to be a citizen. He was a participant in this community, that he made contributions to this town that were truly significant. And we wanted to recognize that. So, excuse me, we modified our rules so that Ben or anyone similarly situated could be included in the wall. we certainly could not just modify our rules to give Ben a pass, but we felt that anybody who was in his situation certainly deserved to be included in this memorial. And so we modified the rules, and based on that, we were able to get Ben's name added to the wall, and I'm pleased we did it. I think it was absolutely the right thing to do. And now we're presented with the issue of the honor and remember flag. We had the meeting February 10, and we were provided, let me go back. We were requested to fly the flag, and we sent a letter out to the Moors indicating that, you know, we thanked them for the flag and we would fly it at our earliest opportunity. And we didn't. And, you know, I certainly owe, that letter went out over my signature, and I owe the family an apology for sending that out, if in fact we didn't intend to fly the flag. But when we sent it, we thought we'd be flying the flag, so it wasn't a lie, but it didn't prove to be true. What happened was we had one of our meetings and we reviewed the flag, and we realized that we had some, what we thought were substantial issues with the flag. And we sent a letter to the Moors explaining why we felt that it was really inappropriate for this flag to be flown at the memorial. And I understand that was not well received, and I'm not surprised at that. We had the meeting February 10, and a presentation was made, a very emotional, a compelling argument, I think, was made. And I don't think there's anyone on this committee who takes this issue lightly. This has been something we've struggled with a lot. I'm sorry. At the February meeting, we were provided with a letter that was really a point-by-point response to the letter that we had sent, I think in July. And I guess what I would like to do is perhaps respond in kind. We've gone back. What happened at the February 10 meeting was I promised to ask the committee to re-examine the flag code. Certainly a part of our objection to the honor and remember flag was we felt it was a violation of the flag code. The flag code is not there's no sanctions if you violate the flag code. The flag code tells you how you're supposed to respect the flag. But truth is, you can burn the flag if you want. That's a violation of the flag code, but you're allowed to do it. But this committee is charged with a responsibility, I think, greater than the public who can burn the flag. We reviewed the flag code previously, and we went back and looked at it again. And frankly, I was hoping we could come up with a compromise, some way we could fly this flag, because I know how much it means to many people in this community. But I can't. I have studied the flag code, and I believe everyone else on the committee has studied the flag code. And I think it's a violation. You know, the argument was made that we said the flag code does not allow anyone to put anything on the American flag. And the argument was that, well, that's not what is being done here. The American flag is being put on the honor and remember flag, and therefore it's not a violation. And I think that's a distinction without any real difference. it is really a new flag where these parts are being assembled. We're not really putting one part on something else, it's a new flag. But we believe that that violates the intent of the flag code. I don't know if we have promised that we would make a decision tonight. I guess I do have a couple more things I wanted to say. We have discussed and raised the issue that this flag, the Honor and Remember flag, is a commercial representation. There is a registered trademark on it, and on the hem or on the edge of the flag, there is text that talks about this is a registered trademark. My understanding of a registered trademark is that someone is claiming a proprietary interest in that document, item, whatever that is, which means that you can't use it for your own purposes. You can't make one, you can't sell one. It is, I believe, a commercial statement, which is inconsistent with the goal of the memorial. We don't have commercial statements at the memorial. I'm not sure that that is everything I promised to say, but does anyone here have, you've all reviewed the package, does anybody have anything to say? Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I have no comment.
I haven't opened this meeting to the public. I wanted the public to hear what I had to say, and hear what the committee had to say. It was remarkably silent. But if we certainly have an interest and a duty to hear what the public has to say. Does anybody?
My name is Patrick Moore. For the record, my son was Benjamin Gerald Moore. 3 years ago, he was killed in combat. Okay? Chaplain knocked on my door, and I heard them words. We regret to inform you, but your son, Benjamin Moore, was killed in combat. Our lives changed that very minute. That very minute, we had decisions. We had things choices we had to make. Whether we were gonna lie down and die along with him and blot it out to the very end, the bitter end, the best we could, or if we were gonna honor and remember him. And that's what we chose to do, honor and remember. POWs, MIA, and the KIAs. That's what we do. So our journey's brought us here. What we do is we raise monies. We traveled over 6,000 miles last year for our own time, our own money, gathered money to give directly to veterans. 97 cents out of every dollar goes directly to a veteran in need. Here we are here. Now we're on Honor and Remember. We're working with a lot of people throughout the country and Canada. I have to say, this is the only group of veterans, the only veterans committee that's ever done this. You got all this wisdom, you have all this knowledge, and we're here. 19 states have signed this into law. 19 governors cannot be wrong. This can't be wrong. This can't, one life isn't worth a flag. There's 44 men that fought and died for this city on that wall. And they're not worth a flag to honor and to remember them? For their families? For their loved ones? I understand what you're doing with your memorial. You cannot possess it. You cannot own it. It's not yours. It's everybody's. There's over 200 million fallen soldiers in this country to date, from the Revolutionary time to present. This isn't about Benjamin Gerald Moore. There's countless, thousands and thousands of soldiers. There's countless of veterans committees that honor this. Fort Dix McGuire is very active in the Honor and Remember. They do a run for the fallen. For every soldier in New Jersey, they run a mile. It takes 3 days. They run with the Honor and Remember flag. It means something to them. I don't understand. You're getting hung up on some small details. My opinion. 19 states, the governments have better people, more powerful people than us. More people that know what they're doing and know the law. They wouldn't allow this if it wasn't legal. We're going on with trademarks and bits. The flag is a depiction, it's a piece of the flag on that flag.
If you were to cut that triangle out of that flag and hang it on the pole, does that represent the American flag? No, it does not. It represents a blue triangle with stars on it.
So
So
we
could-
know where we stand with you. Currently, we didn't ask our community to do anything because we're trying to get it through here, where our son, our baby, our hero was brought up and fought and died for. We tried to get that done here first. We called Sunday. We got Mayor Yady. She's going to put it up in her municipalities. We got the mayor of Robbinsville that's going to get the Veterans Committee there. They're going to get the veterans there, the firemen, and they're going to do a ceremony. They're going to do it.
We're working with Senator
Allen.
Allen and Senator Greenstein to get it hung at the state capitol.
And they're going to do whatever it takes.
Oh, excuse me, and Assemblyman D'Angelo.
Yes. And
So you're gonna see it hanging at the state
it's
building.
coming.
It's
So,
coming, and you guys are
whether you want to
missing
do it
history.
now or you want to do it when it's mandated, that's okay. It doesn't matter. It was just important. We thought it went hand in hand with your memorial wall.
Well, I understand that, I appreciate it, and
And I think it's personal, because this is the only place that it's happened. The only place that it's happened. A couple weeks ago, we were in Waterford Township. It's ACO. And we were there, and they did their annual fundraiser to bring monies up for their wall to keep it maintained and do all that stuff. They honored and remembered 3 families. They gave them 3 flags.
World War II,
World War II,
veteran who
Vietnam,
was killed, Vietnam, and an Iraqi.
and Iraq. So, I don't know why we're getting hung up on this, but all the other communities, the Bordentown Township put it up,
We
has
didn't
no
even ask.
problem. Put it right up. And everybody's ashamed. Everybody's ashamed. You gotta, if you talk to other people outside the community, everybody knows what's going on. And they're all ashamed, as well as I am. And for what you've put my family through, we're hurt. We're hurt. And it shouldn't have came to this, but it did. And me and Amy talked about this. And if we're not gonna do this, who else is? Who else is gonna stand up and talk and do this? God forbid another family has to go through what we're going through and have to endure what we're going through. I go to bed at night, I put my head down, I go to bed. I know I'm doing the right things. I know that one day I'm gonna have to meet my Maker.
And those
And I'm making things right here, now.
those 44 names on the wall aren't worth a flag.
well, no, of course, that would be wholly inappropriate to say that they're not worth it. Our position, and I guess I'm sort of running out of ways to say it, but it is the way we've expressed it. We might be wrong, but we're doing the best we can. We think I swear, I went through all this so everyone could understand that we did not do anything casually. And if you feel it's personal, I'm genuinely sorry, because